All right, welcome back. So we are starting a new episode. I did get some carrots, by the way, from my main account, so at least we're not constantly starving. And I also noticed that we're going to be fishing back at that same spot we did last episode at the end. We're going to start there at least. Sorry, I'm looking at what is going on with my my shirt, and I've learned this lesson before, but I guess I had sort of forgotten. Wasn't thinking about it today. But you should never wear green when you're standing in front of a green screen. Uh, anyway, we are going to possibly do a wardrobe change. But what I want to do is make some ground bait with some caramel as the attractant, because I have noticed that in this spot we're going to fish at, a lot of people are having a lot of success with caramel. So I guess this is going to be carp 4, actually. And we're going to go ground crackers, millet porridge. I'm going to put corn in this one and maggots. And then we're going to add caramel. So if caramel is working as a bait in this spot, which is like down at 2832 at the very farthest south point. Unfortunately, because we don't have carp baits unlocked, we can't actually fish with caramel, but we can at least put caramel in our ground bait, right? And maybe that will make a difference. I meant to get a new feeder cage. Oh well, let's just go get our rods in the water at this point. And yes, I am casually trying to catch a challenge fish over here on my main account. It's very slow, easy fishing, and so far it's not going well. But you never know. It only takes one, right? All right, 2832, which is the spot we were at the end of the last episode. We are going to back it down to a, yeah, this can't be right. It's got to be 38, 32. Yeah, I think it's 38, 32. We are going to back it down to more of a 25 meter clip instead of, you may remember we were doing a 30 meter clip last time. So carp 4. And we are going to go to large one hooks. And at least to start off with, and we'll see how good or bad this is, I'm actually going to start with corn. Here's my thinking. Everybody's using corn, caramel flavored corn. We can't do that, but we can at least use caramel attractant ground bait and have corn. Let's see if we can catch any fish. We're going to burn through these carrots so fast. I do think in this middle one, actually, I'm going to do no ground bait. And I'm tempted to put potatoes on one, but I guess I'll do corn on all 3 until we get a sense of how good or bad this is. And we're going 25. Oh, it's snagged. The ghost snags here at Donitz, frankly, are just infuriating. All right, let me relog. So we need to cast in a different spot. That's why I wasn't catching anything on the first rod there. So frustrating. All right, so let's get our third corn out with carp 4. We could try size 4 hook, but now we'll go. Okay. And if this doesn't work at all, then, I mean, like last time, we can at least switch to maybe potatoes and one other bait. 2 potatoes, 1. We caught a couple fish on honeydew, I think, right? Or maybe we just do pearl barley over here. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. Hey, we caught something that's decent size. Ooh, a Dinks Linear. So that's a rare Dinks carp. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right, let's keep it up. So I think our idea was good, but it is just a little slow. Probably too slow. I've got to turn the volume down on this thing over here. So I don't know. Frankly, I don't know if we just should go back to potatoes. I tell you what, let's try potato, and then let's do nightcrawler. You know, we did purchase those nightcrawlers. Sometimes nightcrawlers can be kind of sneaky good in spots. So let's give this a try. You know, we tried the corn, it didn't work, that's okay. We'll keep the caramel stuff on there because I still think that there's something to be said for caramel at the moment. All right, so we're gonna put nightcrawlers in. And then I guess we'll go with potato. And we saw yesterday that potatoes will at least occasionally catch us a common carp or something to keep it rolling a little bit, which at this point we would be all for. Now, if this is still too slow, at that point we probably have to look at like pearl barley or something that we're going to start, where we'll start catching, you know, crucian gibble, roach, that kind of stuff, if they're even in this spot, which they probably are, but you don't know till you know. Okay. All right, we finally have a fish on, and it is one of the potato rods. In fact, it's the potato rod with the ground bait. It's almost 1700, which means that fishing should be getting a little bit better. We're making it through the harsh middle of the afternoon. There's a Dinks mirror carp. We just want to see him a little bit bigger. With potatoes, like, do we even need to go a little higher hook size? I don't know, it'd be weird. All right, here's potatoes. It's our biggest fish yet, I believe. And one thing you'll notice, they've introduced into the newest update at all three of the primarily carp maps, this being one of them, that water temperature now changes. Oh my goodness, this is going to be our first rare carp, and it's on potatoes. Potatoes might just be where it's at. We'll give night crawlers a little bit longer, but there are increased water temperatures here at Copper, so that will affect fishing. How? I don't know. And we don't have access to different rig types to even try to address that really, but it's worth mentioning. This is a beautiful fish. That's definitely going to level us up. It's a Kohaku. Gives us over 22,000 XP. And that's pretty cool. My goodness, that is pretty cool. In fact, we're almost 12.5 now on level. Oh, it's interesting. That's the one that does not have ground bait on it, is the rod that ended up coming in on. So that was nice. Yeah, let's see what we can get. What we can get next here. All right, folks. Well, it's just too slow. Literally, we've caught 3 fish. Now, I will say they were exciting fish, right? But at the end of the day, it was only 3 fish. I'm not going to stay down here because I figure we at least can go up and try to get a couple of rough or whatever we can catch off of the dock before this night's over. And yeah, this will probably just be a much shorter episode. So I really like that we got this Kohaku. I mean, it's almost worth, you know, somebody made the joke, I think after the second episode, that like all you need to do in 5 hours is catch one F1, which actually that Kohaku is a nicer fish than an F1. But it's almost, you almost feel like that. Like, if I had the patience, we could just sit here and catch 3 or 4 fish an hour. If they were the right 3 or 4 fish and the right size, that could be worth it. But that is a very slow, exhausting existence. So let's don't do that. And you know, we've still got just over an hour left on the trip, so we'll do a little bit of rough fishing here, I guess. And I don't know what we'll do in that last, I suspect we'll go back in that last hour, so the next episode, I suspect we'll go back to that spot that's up north, 10-meter clip, and just see what, if anything, we can catch there. That's what I'm thinking, at least. We'll see. Oops. All right, so we want to go back to probably, I've still not figured out exactly what clip we want to be at. It's like the right clip for the rough, but anything we do here seems to work okay, not great. On these rough, and the other hard part is it's been really hard with this equipment to see when a rough is actually biting. I think they're just these feeders are just such big feeders. Oh, I forgot to clip it. That's okay. Such big feeders to be fishing for rough, I guess. Even with the small quiver tip, it's still an awfully big setup for rough. We have still not caught an 800 gram Terran, in case you were wondering, on my main account. Today, the largest one was 667. We've had so many that have been like right up close to that 800 mark, but so far just not catching them. And today I've been trying mostly feeders, a little bit of float, but mostly feeders. But I don't know. I think float on average, I've been catching larger ones. Of course, float's just a lot more intense, but all right, well, let's do our thing where we pick them up and see if there's fish on. Yeah, sure enough. So we just never get the alarm or the alert. And I don't know why exactly. I mean, I do know why. First of all, this might be a situation where the rod pod kind of works against us. I don't know. Like I mentioned before, these are really big Model 2 feeders with big line, big leader. Even with the small quiver tip, it's possible that those rough just don't have enough strength to actually show us that they're on. Oh my goodness. Another huge rough order. 6 for 48 silver. This is the kind of stuff that I would normally be doing at Old Berg and at Mosquito, and getting so excited about it. Like these rough orders that are just perfect for a low level leveling experience. You get so much silver for them for just a little bit of overnight fishing. So good. All right, let's just do the walkthrough here. That's number 3, right? 3 out of 6. Is it possible we're going to get there? I don't know. We're running out of time. Is this 4? Oh my goodness. 4. We probably ought to put red worm on 2 instead of worms on 2, regular worms. Well, let's see what size this is. Yeah, I'm going to switch this to red worm because I think it's too small. So we're going to go red worm. Typically, red worm gets the larger rough on average, but typically it's harder to get red worm at this level. Oh my goodness. Keep trying for that Terran. I think they pretty much don't bite at all overnight. I'm going to throw my float in just to make sure. Like right about midnight, I stop catching them, and they probably don't start again until 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., something like that. But just going to double check. It's what, 3:37, so... All right, so we actually got a bite signal this time on the middle rod. So this is one thing that's a little bit better about the expensive rod pod, is it does, because the alarms are built in. Ooh, that's a nice rough. Holy cow. It does show you like when there's a back bite. In other words, like when the fish swims towards the shore instead of just pulling away from the shore. We might actually stinking do this order. Yeah, I'm sitting here catching crucian carp in the middle of the night on the Terran spot, so it's the only thing that's biting. Oh my goodness, guys. All right, let's just go look and see. Like, we might have just finished it, which would be perfect, because then we could just wrap this 15-minute episode up and save a full hour for the last thing. If you have, okay, so if you've watched episodes, especially 2, 3, and now this one, if you have any thoughts on like, okay, MDawg, this is what you should try. 6 rough for 48 silver. I'm telling you, that is insane. Now we're back to the point where we can afford at least one starter feeder kit. It's going to be funny if like we get done with this trip and the only thing we can actually afford is one starter feeder kit. I mean, now we have bought some other good things that you can't often get at low level because of stock issues. But yeah, so if you have any suggestions, like, to me, the things that we should probably consider is either just look at these rough are so good. I mean, one thing we should definitely do is fish for rough every overnight, but we're not going to be here, but maybe one more overnight. But I think one thing we could consider is just going back to this north spot. I probably will fish there, but let's see what you all say in the comments if this episode comes out before I record the next one. Unfortunately, sometimes that's what gets me, but we'll see. How much are these fish worth? 53 silver for the kohaku. And these rough, man, they really add up. That is awesome. Another 77. So we're at 227. Actually, we're doing all right here. So the question is not necessarily where do we fish, although if you have a great idea about that, but where do we spend our last hour here on copper on this first trip? I think it's probably up here at this north spot, 10-meter clip. Do we just do potatoes, see what we get? Do we do pearl barley? And maybe we get 1 or 2 carp, but we also get a bunch of crucian gibbles and roach, hopefully. At least we're catching some volume of fish. That's probably what I would lean towards, but if you have other ideas, this is the time to let me know, especially if I can get this short episode out before I even record the next one, which I think I'll be able to. We'll see, but I think I'll be able to. Hey, as always, thanks for watching. Sorry for how short this episode is, but that one spot was just way too slow, and I was not going to stand there catching nothing for 45 minutes. So anyway, I'll see you next time. Tight lines, everybody.